Friday, everyone, and happy day for you all. Happy New Year's Day, we'll say. Today, after all those burpees we did yesterday, we're going to take a step back and we're going to focus our day on recovery and movement, and just taking your time and moving well. So what we have for you guys today, we have 3 rounds of dynamic triangle for 5 aside, windmill for 10 alternating back and forth, side lunge for 10 alternating at 303 tempo. You're gonna hit that up nice and steady. These are not for time, just for movement quality and just moving the body around. After that, we have a plank to down dog for 5 reps, PVC Prone Raise for 3 at 10 seconds, floor facing angel hold at 3 at 5 seconds, Laing Arm Extension for 5 to 10, and a baby Cobra for 3 to 5. Again, repeating that for 3 rounds, just giving yourself a chance to move, make sure everything feels good, and then we're gonna finish off with 3 rounds of crab extension, holding the last rep for 5 seconds, into a single leg bridge for 5 aside, into a butterfly bridge for 5, and then bridge for 10, holding that last rep for 5 seconds at the top as well, and then hitting that for 3 rounds. And then cooling yourself down, doing anything else you need to take down, make sure you're feeling good, continue on with your New Year's Day, and start the year off the right way. But let's warm you up, let's get you ready, and we'll have a nice gentle day today. Alright guys, let's get those feet under the hips. We're going to take the arms big and tall up overhead. We're going to reach those arms way up and then reach to one side. We'll come back through, reaching to the other side. We'll come back up, scratch our back, and then reach through the elbow. Come back up nice and tall, big stretch. Scratch your back and then reach through the elbow. And then big tall, big stretch. We're going to forward fold, touch those toes. And walk up the shins. Come on back down and frame a foot. We'll step it back into your lizard. Take that inside hand all the way up and rotate forearm to the floor. We'll come back up, big stretch, and rotate forearm to the floor, and big stretch, and rotate forearm to the floor. Come back up, plant the hand. Outside hand is going to reach way up to the sky. We'll come back down, and then we'll step back into our down dog, reaching those hips super far, and then come back into that plank. Stepping that foot up nice and square in those hips, and then inside hand's gonna reach way up again, and rotate forearm to the floor. We'll come back up, come back down with the arm, rotating forearm to the floor, back up, and rotate forearm down, and back up. Plant that hand, step it back, which your outside hand's gonna reach way up. Plant that hand down, step her back into that down dog, reach those hips, walk those heels out. Those calves may be a little tight today, along with those ankles. Just walk it back and forth, nice and gentle. We'll come back into our plank, tiptoe those feet all the way up. We're going to roll ourselves all the way up, big stretch, clasp those fingers, press way up. Press those tops of the hands forward, right towards the screen, rounding out that upper back. Big stretch to the sky. Bring those hands down. Let's get you guys ready to go through that first phase of work. Now, if you'd like to pause the video, take down some cat-cows, thread the needles, whatever you'd like to add into this, you guys, please do so and take that down for yourself and enjoy. Our first phase of work today is going to consist of 3 rounds. We're going to start off with a dynamic triangle. So my feet are going to start off in that nice sumo stance. I'm going to turn one toe and then a toe on the angle. My hand is going to be to the thigh. My other hand is going to press way up to the sky. And we're going to pull the hip way back, tracing down the shin, and then reaching straight up to the ceiling the entire time. So we'll pull the hip back, and then we're going to rise back up, and then take it down one more time as we pull the hip back. So focusing on that pull back of the hip, not worry about getting as low as we can, but focusing on this hinge first, and then taking the arm down as deep as you feel comfortable. Again, the legs staying straight, working through that position, and only going to that desired sensation that you can maintain a good breath with. Our next exercise comes into the same stance, and we're going to come back to our sumo. I'm going to take one hand down, one hand way up to the sky. I'm going to soften my knees, and I'm going to pull my hips back, rotating at the low rib as I take it as far to the close and to the floor as I can. And then I come back up. I'm going to light 5 overhead, and then I'm going to take it back and down again, softening the knees, rotating at the low ribs, and then coming back up nice and smooth. Our goal here is to keep those knees soft like a wider stance good morning, but as we pull the hips back, we're rotating through the low rib. So we're getting that nice rotation through here, not through the waist. So focus your attention on that soft knee position that'll allow you to tap into those hamstrings a bit, and that nice rotation through that low rib. You'll hit 10 reps back and forth, total count of that, and then we're gonna take our feet a little wider. And if you'd like to add in a few of those wide stance good mornings to this, you can, but we're gonna focus our attention to our side lunge. So we're gonna take our hip to our heel, staying as upright as we can, nice and stacked with that knee tracking the toe, chest nice and high, and that weight through the midfoot. And we're gonna take it as deep as we can maintain those key points of performance. So I don't care how deep you get, I just care about keeping the chest up, weight through the midfoot, and that knee tracking the toe as best it can. So really focus your attention to those key points and take it as deep as you feel comfortable. As a quick little recap for that first piece, we have a 3-round work set of a dynamic triangle of 5 per side, windmill of 10 alternating back and forth, side lunge for 10 alternating at a 303 tempo, nice and steady, nice and smooth. You can rest in between those rounds if you'd like. You can add in some other movements like some cat-cows, thread the needles in between if you'd like as well, but that's gonna start you off the right way just as a quick head to toe before we end up down the floor. So pause the video, take that down, come join me for our next phase of work. Our next phase of work is going to consist of some plank work and some floor to shoulder load. So we're going to get set up in our plank, and I know you guys spent a lot of time there yesterday, so we're just going to touch on this a little bit today. So we're going to pull those ribs and hips in, press through those shoulders, and we're going to pull the hips back and up into that nice down dog, setting those shoulders so they support the arms, and then we're going to come back into that plank. So again, finding that good plank, opening up those lats, feeling that nice support in that overhead position, and just taking your time. If you'd like to add in a little heel press in there, please be my guest. You're gonna wake up those calves, wake up those ankles a bit. They did some jumping and there's a little bit of impact on them yesterday, so take the time to show them some love as well. PVC Prone Raise comes next, and then we're gonna work on just a little bit of strengthening and some mobility here. So our toes are gonna be planted, our arms are gonna be nice and straight, our palms down. I'm going to get set as I press my toes down to the floor, squeeze my glutes and pull my ribs in, press my armpits down, and my eyes to the ground. From here, what I'm going to do is maintain this position and lift just my arms up over in that overhead position. So I'm going to hold this hollow, keep my armpits pointing down towards the floor, and then I'm going to lower the arms down after 10 seconds. Then reset my position and continue on from there. Something really cool to think about for that, you guys, again, don't worry about how high the arm gets, okay? Just worry about maintaining that hollow position through the ribs and hips, pressing that armpit down towards the floor to initiate, and then trying to maintain that solid position throughout the entire motion. So don't necessarily judge that movement by how high your hands get. Focus on the hollow and focus on just really maintaining that good shape. After that, we're going to stay on the floor. We're going to work on our floor-facing angel hold. So again, a challenging piece. Our hand is going to be back by the ribs, stacked under the elbow. My ribs and hips are going to get nice and tight like a push-up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my shoulders back together, lifting the hands up off the floor, holding for 5 seconds, and then lowering and relaxing. So from here again, we pull the ribs and hips in. My shoulders are set back. And I'm going to squeeze my shoulders back, holding that position, and down. Again, I'm not worrying so much about how high my hands get off the floor. What I'm focusing my attention on is that engagement through that upper back and that position as I lift through my upper back and my shoulders. So don't necessarily worry about the height of the fingers off the floor. They may not even come off the floor. The key is that engagement through the upper back. From there, we're just going to slide the hands back. I'm going to go through our Laing Arm Extension. So I'm going to pull my ribs and hips in again. Shoulders are back. Arms are straight. My palms are up to the sky. I'm going to press my hands up as far as I feel comfortable and then lower down. I personally like to hold each rep for a couple seconds at the top, just making sure that I give myself that opportunity to feel that lift and that engagement through that shoulder and that pec. So really kind of take the time for this. Don't just be like, oh, 5 to 10, bam, bam, bam. All right, take your time and end range on both ends of the movement and see how it feels. After that, last movement on the floor, we're gonna go through our baby cobra. So our hands come to the front of the body. My forearms are tight to the body and the floor, and my elbows are close. I'm gonna roll my shoulders back, and then I'm gonna inhale, reaching through the crown. So I'm not necessarily worrying about how high I get in that lift, but I am worrying about the reach and the length of my body as I extend up and out. So like the back extension or our arch up, I want you guys to think about lengthening out the spine as best we can and focusing on that nice long spine and vertebrae. You can also use the forearms as a little bit of support. As we press into the floor, that's going to give us a little bit of support through our midsection, but we're not using that press to get higher up. We're just using it as a little base of support through the lats and through that midsection to help support the body. So as a quick recap for you guys, what we have: plank to down dog for 5 reps, PVC Prone Raise for 3 to 10 seconds, floor facing angel hold 3 to 5 seconds, laying arm extension for 5 to 10, and then a baby cobra for 3 to 5. So a nice chance just to work on that nice midsection, that T-spine a little bit, and a little bit of shoulder love. So take the time, have some fun. Again, add anything else in there that you need to play with that for you personally. If you want to add in some laying pec stretches, those are always a win as well. But take that down, have some fun with it. You got 3 rounds to play. Pause the video, take that down. We're going to move on to one more piece, which is going to put us more in a bridge position in a laying down spot. So I'm going to have a seat, get ready for that crab extension. So what we're going to do with the crab extension is I'm going to get my feet just kind of neutral, like I was going to do a bridge. I can bring my hands, fingers to the outside. They can be fingers towards the heels, they can be fingers away, but we find that fingers to the outside is a little bit more neutral for most people. So whatever position you'd like to, that's fine. Just make sure that you're not loading anything improperly and it feels not so nice, all right? Shoulders are gonna roll back, so we're nice and open through the chest. I'm gonna squeeze my glutes, lift my hips up, try to get as flat as I can, and then lower. I squeeze, lift, and lower. One more time, squeeze, lift, and lower. My shoulders and my hips are gonna decide how high I get, so I wanna make sure I'm listening to both of those things and allowing myself to move to that edge and that tolerable sensation. So if one is saying, not so much today, maybe by the end of your warm-up set there and your work set, you may be getting a little higher by the end, who knows? But don't push it, just move to your edge and then ease out of it. Just give yourself some time to play with that one. From there, we're gonna lay on our back and we're gonna keep our feet where they're at. Our hands are gonna come to the side of the body, pressing into the floor a bit for some foundation work. I'm gonna lift the leg up and I'm gonna work on that single leg bridge. So I'm just gonna work on squeezing my glutes, pressing down through that foot as best I can, and coming up as high as I can maintain a good position through the body, and lower. And then I'll do that per side. So I'll reset the position, squeeze, lift, and lower. The big thing here is that my foot and my shoulders are taking the brunt of my body weight, not my neck and head. From there, I'm gonna bring my toes and heels together, opening up into that butterfly position. My hands are going to be to the side of the body, pressing gently into the floor just to support and kind of engage that upper back. I'm going to squeeze my glutes and I'm going to lift my hips up as high as I feel comfortable. It doesn't have to be very high. I'm going to hold for a beat or two and then lower down and just let my body relax for a second and then recess and squeeze, lift, hold for a beat, and lower down. So I don't want you to move into negative sensation here, but just enough sensation that you can feel in that inner thigh and that hip. From here, our next exercise is a normal bridge. So we're going to bring our knees back up. We're going to squeeze our glutes, lift those hips up with both feet planted on the floor, and then lower down. Again, our feet being our main source of foundation through our shoulders as well, not our neck and head, and our glutes being the primary mover as glute squeeze lifts and extends the hips toward desired height. We want to make sure our ribs stay nice and tight and we're not pushing into hyperextension, just into hip extension. And then lower down. So as a quick little recap, we have plank to down dog, or sorry, wrong set. That was the last set. As a quick recap, we have our crab extension for 10, hold last rep for 5 seconds at the top, single leg bridge for 5 per side, butterfly bridge for 5 with a little pause at the top, and then we have a bridge for 10 reps, holding the last rep for 5 seconds as well. Taking that down for 3 rounds, adding in anything else you'd like, and then moving into whatever type of cool down you'd like to do. We've done a lot of lower body, we've done a lot of upper body, full body extravaganza yesterday with the burpees. So take some time to show yourself a little bit of extra love with that cool down at the end. Figure 4, a little bit of twisting, rotation work, who knows. Whatever your body needs today, make sure you give it that and get a lot of a good hearty rest, because we're coming at you tomorrow for one more work set of the week and then starting fresh on Monday. So I hope you guys have a great day today. Enjoy this slower paced day. If you have any questions or need something specific for yourself, shoot me a message and I can send something out to you via the interwebs, and we'll make sure you're taken care of. Have a fantastic day. A happy new year, you guys. You did awesome yesterday during the burpees. Enjoy today, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye, you guys.